Kayla, I'm impressed. Gucci has a museum. Who knew that handbags would get its own museum?
Yeah, well, I guess people really like to look at them. And this museum, it's Gucci's own museum, so it's not in a separate art museum or anything like that, like the Alexander McQueen one was at the Met. It's its own permanent building that's going to be there. It's going to be a museum. There's no time that it'll run through, and they're going to have some different permanent exhibits, such as the floral theme is going to have its own room, and it's going to describe the development of that, or one that describes the double G logo and things like that. And then they're also going to bring in different art exhibits from different foundations and movies, from the Martin Scorsese Foundation and things like that. So they're going to be a fashion museum bringing in art instead of an art museum bringing in different fashion exhibits, which I think is kind of an interesting take on the whole thing. And I'd be surprised if more luxury brands don't follow in Gucci's path.
You know, it's an interesting point to raise because I know that Bernard Arnault, who is the CEO of the LVMH Group, has his own museum in Paris.
Okay.
And that is going to house his own collection, but that's, you know, his personal museum. And then you go to his rival, Francois Pinault, who runs PPR, and this is the senior Pinault, and he's got his own museum, and I believe that's again in Italy, if I'm right, it's in Venice. Now I do know that Hermes has always had a floor in its Paris headquarters that's a museum, but you know, obviously Gucci is on a larger scale. What impact will this have on the brand itself?
Well, I think it just takes the brand's products, and by putting them in this museum-like atmosphere, kind of brings in the quality of museums, and museums are all curated and things like that, and they show these historic things that have kind of supposedly changed the world, and Gucci, I think, is trying to embody kind of what an historical or an art museum does by bringing in the best of its products.
Alright, so you think they've got this in the bag?
I think so.